And so working with Smartbridge, what they've done is they took a look at our processes, again, very manual. We're getting invoices with email, we're getting some through DocuSign, where we're getting some in the mail still. You know, if you can imagine, in 2021, there's still invoices coming through the mail. And so teams would basically, every department, every building would have to, you know, go grab them, code them, put them into, you know, their workflow process, have them approved, and then finally end up in our ERP system. But there was so much manual work being involved, and over and over and over again. And so, including in IT and my team. And so what we decided is, let's take a look at you know, what we can do with robotic process automation, especially as Smartbridge really started describing, you know, what they call, I guess UiPath calls document understanding. Because one of the challenges we had previously when looking at solutions like this is OCR just wasn't where it needed to be. There was always, you know, there was still not enough accuracy, and so you ended up spending most of your time reviewing and editing and fixing, and so they really didn't feel like you gained much efficiency. And so as UiPath's document understanding was more explained to us, it became apparent that this may be a difference maker. And so we said, you know, worked with Smartbridge and said, sure, let's partner, let's figure out what we can do. And so on this slide, you'll see is probably your traditional, you know, kind of AP process or AP invoice processing diagram. But again, I described that we were getting all our invoices, you were trying to, you know, process them. With the UiPath solution, you know, we're able, now what we've done is streamlined it so they all show up in a digital format in one folder. The robot can then go grab all those documents from that one folder. And so we've changed our business process to make sure that we always put them in that folder, whereas before, you know, the folks helping me with the invoices would maybe, you know, keep them in their email, upload them, you know, here and there. But now we've got a single place to put them. We drop them in there. We don't have to do it, you know, once a week or twice a week. As soon as you drop one in there, the robot's always listening. And so that was different. I mean, again, we were so used to, you know, saying, okay, it's this time of the month, we got to go on this day, we got to enter them, and then by this day they got to be ready for approval, and then by this day they get paid. And so the ability to have the robot just listening all the time just makes it so much easier, and you don't forget an invoice. You know, too many times you forget an invoice because you forgot that it was in an email, or you forgot to process it. And so being able to say, here's an invoice, I do something with it, I put it in a folder, and then the robot takes over, it's just been fantastic. And then with the document understanding capabilities of it being able to do machine learning, you know, we're able to define what an invoice looks like for a vendor. And so we take vendor A and we say, these are the invoices for a vendor, and we go and we identify where the certain metadata fields are that we want captured for AP invoice system in our ERP. And so we tag it in that particular invoice, and then we do that a couple times over and over again. And then the machine learning AI robot takes over and says, okay, if I see an invoice and it's got the fields all in this area and it's got this type of name, then it must be, you know, vendor A. And so it says, okay, this is your vendor, and then this is how I process that vendor. And so we taught it, you know, 15 or plus vendors how to read those specific invoices. And even if a vendor sent you different kind of invoices, because maybe, you know, once a quarterly or once a weekly or different services, you just teach it the different ones, but it remembers which vendor it belongs to. And so for us, having that ability within UiPath to teach it was huge. And I would say the second thing that excited us about, and that Smartbridge really educated us about, is because of the way the UiPath tool is designed, and I think they call it the Action Center, I think is what it's called. I think it's listed in there.
Yeah.
But it's a tool that can be used by non-geeky technical people like me, right? And so, you know, I'm a coder, I'm a programmer, and you know, a lot of times we try to complicate things, and you know, because we want a program to do everything. But the way the UI is designed, yeah, exactly. Steve gets it. Yeah, it's like yeah,
there's always a coding solution for everything, right?
Exactly. But the Action Center, the way they've designed it, it's really, you know, drag and drop. It's you know, point and click. It's kind of, if you ever use DocuSign or EchoSign or one of those Adobe Sign, you just drag your signature box, you just drag your name box. So same thing here. You just highlight the invoice number, you highlight the PO number, you highlight the name, the address, the GL account number, whatever you need, and then all of a sudden it learns what that invoice looks like. And so being able to have a non-geeky, techie type person be able to just kind of scan and do the invoice reading and analyzing is huge, because as we're learning and we're looking at other departments that don't have, you know, it doesn't become an IT function, right? You don't have to have an IT member be the one that teaches the robot to learn. and that's fantastic. And so to me, that's one of the things that really excited us about this new document understanding from UiPath. And so we've been putting that to the test. And then again, we were able to then use a database of our standard GL codes and how to code things. And so when you take that database along with what the robot has pulled from the metadata and mash the two together, now we can send the information to the AP system and to our ERP or accounting system with almost little interaction, right? And so if we add a new GL account, you just add it to the database and you link them together. If we add a new business unit in our GL system, we link them together, and then it just allows you to have this metadata and this database on the side that just drives the process. And on a rare occasion where maybe you get an invoice that is different, maybe the vendor changed something or it's a new vendor, again, then you have the action center. And so if there is an error, then someone can go to the action center, they get a notification, they see what the error is, they fix it, keep the process going. But now by fixing it, you just taught the robot how to learn more. And so again, it becomes an iterative process that throughout the whole thing.
So did you just in this area, sorry to stop you, in this area, were you, as you were rolling it out, were you auditing and saying, okay, this is 90% accurate, now it's 95% accurate, or how did that kind of happen?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great question, because one of the things that we tried, and again, having a partner like Smartbridge is amazing, because they said, okay, well, here's what we could try first and see what you think, and then we can try this. And so one of the things we tried was more of an out of the box, the machine learning AI robot, and UiPath comes with really nice ones, but we tried out of the box and said, okay, well, let's try that, right? That's the easy way to do it, get it up and running, give us a great proof of concept. But we realized very quickly it was like 55% accurate, and so we were like, okay, well, that's for us. And you end up back where we were back in the old days with the OCR not being as accurate. So as we started looking at what could Smartbridge do to help configure, customize it even stronger, that's where the secret sauce of someone like a Smartbridge or another implementer came in, right? Because we are not the experts in UiPath, we're not the experts in these technologies, and having them be able to say, okay, well, here's what the out of box gives you, but if you let us really fine tune it for Hines, then you'll get higher and higher accuracy. And so I'd say we're probably at 90-95% accuracy right now with IT. Wow. And I didn't want to try to roll this out beyond IT until we can get closer to the 90-95% accuracy, because I didn't want this to become a support issue where other departments are having to come to us all the time because the robot's not working, right? And so I wanted to get to over 90% accuracy, and that's where we are today. And that's why it's exciting to see now that we're ready to start moving into other departments. But yeah, I mean, it's a great example of you can prototype with what you get out of the box, but every firm has got to look at what is about your setup, your processes, and leverage the smart people to get it all configured for you.
And two quick follow-ups on this slide. When you say that level of accuracy, that's around the world, I'm assuming, right? That's not just in one location. And the other question I had is that all in English, or is that accuracy in multiple languages?
Well, again, I'll answer it in a different way. So again, we're focused on the invoice IT processes. So to answer your question, we do get invoices from all over the world. And so we do process, but it's our team processing them. We've hit a couple of foreign language ones, but in most cases, most of our invoices that we process in IT are in English.
Are in English. Gotcha.
So now we've been told, and again, this is where proof of concept comes in handy, but we've been told that UiPath can handle different languages, because again, the beauty is you're tagging the location and what you're reading. And so if it's Spanish and it's an invoice number in Spanish, you just teach it that if you see this word, it means invoice number in English, and here's where the number is. And so at some point, it's not going to care what the language is. It could be Klingon. It doesn't matter. Since we're all sci-fi geeks here, but so it won't matter, because again, it'll be kind of recognition, right? It recognizes a word and it knows this is the metadata. And so we're excited to test it out, but at least from being able to process in English other invoices with different currencies, we've been able to do that.
And the Romulans aren't going to send an invoice, right? So should we go to the next slide?
But they're just going on payment. They don't need any proof. They just want the payment, right? Nothing that's anything else, right? All right. But anyway, to wrap it up, from a results, again, on the slide, you can see, it was very manual intensive, as I described earlier. a lot of, hands-on, potential error. Again, unfortunately, we would forget some invoices because they got lost in somebody's email when they went on vacation and they forgot to extract it. And so, being able to now have one bot that can just sit there, listen, learn. And again, it's amazing. It's really cool what we always, we've been talking about AI and ML, machine learning and artificial intelligence for a lot of years now, but it is cool to see it. The more you feed it, the more you feed it, the more you feed it, the more it learns. And so I think that's the cool thing about having this bot. And we've been able to do it with one bot right now. As we expand, we may, for performance reasons, or again, if there's uniqueness with certain languages or certain countries, we may have to deploy more bots. But for now, one bot seems to be working well, and we think it can scale significantly before we have to think about another bot. So the hours,
you're maximizing your investment. You're maximizing the time on that one bot.
Yeah, no, it's again, I think the way UiPath does their bots, or the way they license their bots, it's more around the number of jobs and the time you want to run them. And so again, if you have jobs, because I do have another bot for the global records team that's independent of this bot, and because it runs at different hours and different times, and so that will dictate when you think a new bot is needed. The batch jobs as you run them, is it on demand, and also perform, making sure that the jobs do finish and don't interrupt other processes. So and so the hours saved, again, it was more of a really estimate about how much time was being spent with all that manual processing, opening up envelopes, digitizing all that, and again the potential back and forth when we forgot an invoice, or we made a mistake, and then all of a sudden you get a lot of time wasted. And so that's where I kind of calculated the hours saved. And again, the 90% improvement is just because of the accuracy. And again, it's you can, my AP folks can sleep better at night because they didn't forget an invoice. They got it. It's dropped in the folder, or it automatically comes from the vendor right into the folder, and it just magically happens unless there's an error.